Okay, Angel, Rothschild, yes. And you say, oh, they stopped back, blah, blah, blah. Yes, you're correct. There wasn't a Rothschild after that time because, see, Rothschild, well, the bankers, they changed their name to Rothschild. See, if you do a little bit more looking, Angel, you'll discover that they changed their name. They go back a lot further than what you think they do. The Rothschilds is actually the king of the kingpins when it comes to the bankers. Okay? But yes, their name was not Rothschild at the time. That's why you can't find them any further past a certain date. It's because their name was a different name. Okay? There's for one. Now, getting along, how do you do that, Angel, when you're calling a race card? How do you do that when you just continue the problems that's gone on since the beginning of time? You're correct. There's been atrocities against everybody. When do you let go of the anger? When do people grow up and let go of what other people did to them, especially before their time? That's what even makes this more ridiculous, because it was before their time. You're fighting over something that you never experienced in your life, that your ancestors did. You're blaming people that had nothing to do with their ancestors. Let me give you another example, Angel. Supposing you have a child, okay? Supposing you raise your child the best you know how, the best you can. You think the child comes out to be a really good man, okay? And later on down the road, you're not around his child because he's grown up. He's an adult now. He's moved off, has family, has his own life. And he gets in with the wrong crowd and he does something really bad, okay? And so for the rest of the time, because he did that one thing really bad, we should blame the entire race, right? Should we blame the entire race what he did, and then after he's long gone dead, the generations after that can continue to blame your child? And can continue to blame your child. So we just can keep the fighting going on, and we can never ever learn how to grow up and get along. So you got to let go of the anger sometimes, don't we? That's right. People have to learn how to let go of anger, and they have to learn how to forgive, and they have to learn when situations like what you're talking and atrocities like you're talking that's happened since the beginning of the time, people need to learn how to look for the faces and names, not a fucking skin color. The faces and names of the people doing it. And go after the source, the root cause, which that's something you're not promoting, is it, Angel? You're promoting keeping the fighting going. You're promoting what's been going on since the beginning of time. And you want to sit and tell me different? You're doing it openly in everybody's face. Okay, Angel, you have the power to actually do some really good videos. You really do. You've done some damn good videos. And you got a voice that carries and you get your message across. It's just too bad you wasn't awake enough to understand what you're doing. Because if you can fight for the right cause, you have potential. But as long as you want to continue what's been going on since the beginning of time, the only potential we have is for history to repeat itself again. Yep, and a third world war to happen and lots of people may endlessly die. All because we never had the ability to grow up and get along. All because people like yourself have to notice color. And then you have to say you're not being racist when you are being racist. You've already said it out your mouth. Okay? You're just keeping the fighting going. That's all you're doing. When are you going to grow up? When are you going to get over? When are you going to learn that the only way is to do? Well, here, watch this.
When it's all said and done, how are you going to deal with a criminal, but you don't want to deal with who the criminal actually is? So, by your logic, we need to chase Africans, we need to chase Chinese people, we need to chase all these other folks. That's not the criminal, that's not where it's coming from. So don't bring to me this colorless, fictional crap that you want to try to bring up. Because see, as a white man yourself, or as a mulatto, or whatever, it's hard for you to condemn your relative, condemn your race because you are a white man, or your mother or your father are white people. But see, you don't have nothing to do with that. So why are you upset, or why do you get upset? Because Caucasian is pointed out. When you have a crime, you must describe the criminal. The criminal is Caucasian.
Just as I said, see, the criminal's Caucasian. That's right. Because you don't have the ability, do you? You don't have the ability to look for a name and a face, do you? No. You're so focused on color. You're doing just what the global elite wants you to do. You're staying divided. You're continuing what's going on since the beginning of time. You're just continuing it. That's all you're doing. You're not helping anybody. You're not helping anybody grow up. Okay? No, you're continuing it. Because it's the Caucasians, the Caucasians, the Caucasians, the Caucasian. Can't look for a name and a face, can you? No, you don't got that ability, do you? To look at a name and a face and forget color. Then you wonder why you people could never get along from the beginning of the time. Because you always have to think that you got to be above somebody else, or you got to do like Angel here. Can't stop looking at color. Can't stop blaming the color. And what's even more sickening about this whole situation right here is the fact that Angel Snup wasn't alive when that happened. And neither was I. Which means it didn't affect his life the way it did them. Which means it didn't affect my life the way it did them. But he fails to understand that the reason this stuff is going on from the beginning of time is because people never really grew up. Because growing up means you have the ability to get along with others, and compromise. You don't see color. You see another human being as that's what they are, a human being. And you treat one the way you want to be treated yourselves. But I guess that's just too complicated for you there, Angel, isn't it? To treat one the way you want to be treated yourself. Maybe you might want to look that up in the dictionary. You might want to try that. Here, watch this.
Then we can help you with the Rothschilds and the Vanderbilts and all these other different things. And we can come together because now we are on the same level playing field. But also at the same time, don't think that we're going to be your following under white folks. The days of following white people is over. We're going to follow ourselves, trust our own judgment and who we are. We have followed white folks long enough. And if you're not prejudiced and biased, then just like black folks had no problem in following white folks and listening to white people and taking white folks' advice, then you should not have no problem coming up under what we have to offer. So we'll see exactly how real you are when you talk about equality and humanity. Because, like I said before, we have listened to white folks for a long time, and look where we're at. Now, as we grow and mature, then you should see that growth and maturity and trust us like we trusted you and come up under our judgment, our thinking, what we have to offer. If you really are sincere when you talk about we all human beings and there's no color, then if that's how you really feel, then you can help us in what we want to do and know that we're going in the correct direction. Because when black folks finally get ourselves together, this thing that we call black liberation and struggle, it is colorless. But right now we have to deal with the color because it is color that has made us sick.
See, he made a lot of statements there. You know, he's correct. We should come together. But should we come together because we're Caucasian under the black man? No, so no. See, that's once more time. The only thing Angel's doing there is he's keeping what's been going on since the beginning of the time going. That's all he's doing. Coming together is correct. But under the guidance of what? A skin color? Once again, and then he says, well, then after you do that, then of course now color's not an issue no more. That's double speak if I've ever heard it. Okay? That is definitely double speak if I've ever heard it. Because earlier in part 1, as you heard, he said about color. Now look at him. Oh, now he recognizes it. No, I'm dead serious with what I said. Dead serious about everything I said. Angel refuses to see the truth. The truth of the matter is we are nobody is above another human being. I don't care who you are. I don't care what skin color you are. The truth of the matter is since the beginning of the time, people have allowed people to run them over this way, and people have not, ever treated somebody the way they want to be treated themselves. because they didn't have the ability to grow up. They still had to fight like children. They had to fight over everything. Couldn't get along. That's right. And that's really what we're seeing here, right here. This is a very good example of not growing up, of continuing what's going on since the beginning of the time. You say about maturing and growing up and blah, blah, blah. And if I'm dead serious about what I'm saying, well, maybe you need to really step back and think about what you're saying. Because, see, what you're saying is completely ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. Coming together is correct. But there's nobody above, nobody else. It's not white man should follow your lead. It has nothing to do with skin color. And of course, then once white man followed your lead, now color didn't exist, right? Like you followed our lead. No, you didn't. You know who has everybody's followed? You followed somebody else who told you what to do. That's right. That's what everybody's done. See, once more, let's go back to critical thinking skills. Angel, do you have any of them? Because if you have critical thinking skills, how far is this above your head to realize that one must let go of their anger? One cannot blame a whole race of people by a skin color for an atrocities done by very few. Because the atrocities that's gone on for hundreds of years have always been done by very few. And they got you right where they want you because you are blaming an entire race rather than looking for a name and a face. And that is the problem. And then, of course, the fact that, do you really want to see a world where everybody gets along? Where we don't have to kill each other? Where we can actually be real adults? And everybody can live and live their life and have their own beliefs? That's right. And not be told what color to shit and how high to jump? Where the laws can be neutral to everybody? And everybody can be free and everybody can get along? And you see another person, regardless of what skin color they are, you see them as a human being? You treat them the way you want to be treated yourselves? How hard is that? I guess that must just be really, really super hard for you to understand that. That the only thing that you're doing is keeping going what's been going since the beginning of time because of your inability to grow up. Because you haven't grown up enough to figure out that you look for names and faces of the people causing the problems and you go after the people doing it, not an entire freaking race of people based on a fucking color of their skin. That's all I can say to you. Anyhow, grow up. Next video, have a good one.